Hey. I really feel strongly this morning that it's time that I got really vulnerable with you. And it's a tough place to go. But I really think it's important that I come from a place of complete authenticity with how I'm feeling right now living in my van. And you may find this resonates with you if you're a solo traveler, solo van lifer, male or female, but I guess specifically I'm speaking more to the solo female van lifer. I have been living in Van Halen now for about 18 months. If you don't know my story, it started back in September 2023 when a so-called friend let me down. That story is on my YouTube channel, so you can go and have a look at that, why I'm living in my van in my 50s. But when I moved out of my 3-bedroom house and sold everything up and then moved into the Van Halen, of course there was a huge adjustment going from all that space into a tiny little home. I was stealth camping and doing a little bit of dog sitting for 4 months from September to January 23-24 with the dream of traveling and adventuring and experiencing and exploring new things. And it was kind of exciting, right? Because you're sort of working and saving toward a goal, a dream. And so it had a different energy, a different kind of feeling, stealth camping on the Gold Coast back then. And then January the 17th, I hugged my daughter goodbye and with tears and trepidation and fear and anxiety, I climbed into the van and drove off. And I have to be honest, it was scary as fuck. I didn't know whether I'd be safe. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know if I'd have enough money. I had a lot of anxiety and fear around it. But I made the decision. And you know, when you decide, you actually cut off all other options. So that is the definition of deciding or decision making. So I'd cut off all other options and made the decision that I was going to get in Van Halen and drive away and just explore and go with the flow and experience life on my own. 10 months later, I came back to the Gold Coast in October last year, and I felt incredibly empowered. I felt liberated. It was the most incredible experience I think I have ever had in my life as a solo person. Now, I'm not talking about motherhood and being a parent and all that kind of thing, which of course is an incredible experience also, but completely different. I was shouting to the rooftops, go and explore and do this for yourself, because it is an incredibly liberating experience, and it's empowering, because you actually, there's scientific research now, scientifically based research and evidence that when we step outside our comfort zones and when we actually are on our own independently, we actually set new neural pathways in our brain. And overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges on a daily basis sets new neural pathways, but also strengthens those neural pathways. So it's kind of likened to having your brain gym at your fingertips. So you are strengthening your neural pathway muscles and by overcoming challenges on your own, whether that be working out if you got lost on the road and you work out how to get back on track, whether it's trusting your instincts and deciding this particular path doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, I'm turning around, whether it is perhaps an awkward situation where you're speaking with somebody where you don't feel safe and you make the decision to move on, whether it's a flat tire, whether it's taking all the shit out of your front seat so that you can top up your oil, whether it's taking your bike on and off the bike rack, which can be an incredible challenge just to get into the back drawers to get something, whatever. For me, losing my solar panel on the A21 between South Australia and Victoria, whatever it is, you are overcoming those challenges on your own, which is an incredibly empowering experience to have, especially as a female, because of our conditioning, because of the traditions, because of what society tells us that we need a man to help us to deal with these everyday challenges. And we don't. And I'm not saying that having a man in your life or a female is not a beautiful thing. And because, of course, having that companionship is amazing. Experiencing love is incredible. But I'm talking about independence, empowerment, overcoming challenges and overcoming obstacles and believing in yourself and believing that you can, and giving yourself that opportunity to experience that. Provides so much self-love and strength and courage and bravery. It's astounding. So after my 10 months of travelling around Australia and realising that I am very quickly running out of money, I returned back to the Gold Coast. To my familiarity, to my friends, to my support, especially to my daughter, who I missed terribly and I am very close to, I went back to work. I started back at Woolworths Nightfill, which is where I knew that I would get continued work. Great team to work for, and I love the physical aspect of working Nightfill, and it's no stress, and it just fills in my nights and provides a bit of income. Then I work also part-time at Bond University as a simulator patient, which I love. It gives me the opportunity to bring out my acting skills, which I really, really enjoy. And then I also do a bit of NDIS work while I am promoting my books and getting speaking opportunities where I speak on the topics of domestic violence, bullying, and resilience. Still stealth camping on the Gold Coast. So since the beginning of October, I have been stealth camping in Van Halen. It's now February, and I have to share with you how challenging it has been. Living in a small space. Living in a space where I can't stand up in this van, and where my front seat is full of, my passenger seat is full of items, so I can't even transport people without moving all that stuff off the front seat. That's just a reality. No complaints here, just my reality. And what I've realised recently is it's made me feel quite unsettled, displaced, and possibly triggering the fight or flight survival mode. Last week I was stealth camped after Woolworths late at night, and I parked up, no one was around, and next minute I just got into bed and was lying down ready to go to sleep, and there were these flashing lights outside my van. And I knew straight away that it was police. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to wait for the knock. I'm lying there, no knock. 20 minutes of this flashing lights right directly outside. And I was terrified. I didn't want to look outside the window in case somebody saw me and knew that there was somebody in the van. And I had no idea what was going on outside. Eventually, the lights, the vehicle left, and I was able to go back to sleep. Then within about an hour after that, a car rocks up next to me, opens the doors, closes the doors. Somebody's getting out and talking at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning outside my van. And I'm thinking, God, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to knock on my van? Are they going to try and break in? Now, this is no different to being in a home and, my van is locked and I have an exit strategy. I have systems in place to keep me safe. I have my keys in a safe spot very close to where I sleep, and I know where they are. I've got a whistle which I blow, and it's incredibly loud. I have internal access to get into my driver's seat, blow the horn and drive off. So there's lots of safety things that I have in place. But still, it triggered the survival mode, that fight or flight instinct. And I no longer felt safe being in that spot where I was. Yet I had been to the spot numerous times before. And I thought, how long can I do this? How long can I live in this van in stealth on the Gold Coast and feel safe? And I haven't felt anxious. I haven't felt fear. I've been quite comfortable living in my van. But I think it's triggering some, we have the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is water, food and shelter. And even though I have shelter, it's moving. It's constantly changing. It's not stable. And I'm really recognizing that it's probably triggering some of my past trauma of, as a child, being in foster homes and moving and moving and moving. In fact, I went to 13 foster homes as a child from the age of 7 to nearly 12 years old. And there was a lot of instability. There was a lot of trauma and lots of other things happening in my life. Lots of abuse, unfortunately. But I think moving around constantly in the van has kind of triggered some of that stuff for me, and I'm very consciously aware of it. And it's made me realize that really what I need is, I need my independence. I love my time alone, and I've realized that living in a van for 18 months on my own, that I need a base. I need a place that I can call home, that is stable and secure. And once I realised that and became consciously aware of that, I felt a relief, a real sense of just pressure lifted. And now it's moving to excitement, where I'm really excited at what's next for me, and having a little granny flat or a one-bedroom studio of some sort that I can have and call my own is really exciting for me. So come May, that's my plan, is to have my own space, and to have Van Halen as my main vehicle for getting to and from work, but it being my adventurer, my vehicle that takes me on adventures and explorations, music festivals, weekends away, and opportunities to see new places without it being my base and my home long term. And that feels really exciting, actually. A new chapter for me. So I'm now in a place where I'm saving to get enough money for a bond and some rent in advance so that I can get my own place. It's not cheap on the Gold Coast. I think the minimum I would be paying is about $400 a week for a studio or granny flat. More realistically, probably $450, $500. It's a lot of money to spend, but I know that I want to live on my own, and that's really important to me, to keep that independence. And that's a new chapter, and it's okay. I haven't failed. I haven't let myself down. I have explored this adventure, this experience, and it has grown me in astronomical ways. It's helped me to heal. It's liberated me. It's empowered me. And I feel incredibly honored to have had this opportunity solo. I would recommend it to anyone. And for me, it's not forever. So it's time that I have a change in my life, and I am still going to continue to do my vlogs on YouTube about van life, but they'll be just more adventure vlogs in Van Halen, weekends away, music festivals, that kind of thing, which is what I really loved about Van Halen when I was on my 10 months traveling around Australia. That's where I really, really loved my time in Van Halen. And now it's just become very, very difficult for me to enjoy the space with it being so restricted. So this is where I'm packed up for the day. It's a beautiful spot, and this is one of the beautiful parts of living in a van, is that it changes every day and your view can change. And it's what I love about van life. But I'm looking forward to a new chapter. And I really want to say a big thank you for supporting me and sharing my journey and commenting and encouraging me. And I hope you stick around, because there's a lot more to come of my journey. And I hope in some way I've inspired you to maybe get out there and explore some of Australia, or explore solo life, whether that be in a van or some other vehicle or some other way. But go forward. Have an adventure, because life is fleeting, and we want to just embrace every single moment and be grateful for how precious life really is. Thank you.